vegetables. So if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. The YouTube...
Maybe.
Aww. Hi, my name is Mady, and I am on a journey to lose weight and... But for this week's video, I just need you guys to know I hate vegetables. As a kid, I didn't really identify as someone who didn't like vegetables, but in hindsight, I realized I wasn't exposed to them because my mother also does not like vegetables. I likely come from a long line of vegetable haters. I grew up as a poor kid in South Louisiana, and we lived in a trailer park and definitely ate our fair share of rice and beans.
Beans and rice and beans.
No, it was a lot of white beans and rice and red beans and rice, and it was delicious. I cannot deny it. But it was simple and noticeably without vegetables. Even as an adult, I just don't care for vegetables. And there have been many a nights where I've laid my head down to go to sleep at night, and then I just kind of realize that I didn't eat any vegetables that day. And it haunts me. But this journey I'm on, it's not just about weight loss. This is a journey where I want to have a baby at the end of this. And I want my kids to have a better relationship with food than I did. And so to do that, I need to lead by example. So with that, this week, I will be eating the daily recommended servings of vegetables for 7 days. According to the American Heart Association, that is about 4 or 5 servings of vegetables. I'm going to challenge myself and try to hit 5. However, if I hit 4 that day, just know I did technically meet my goal. Now for some rules and tidbits. Rule number 1. What constitutes a serving of a vegetable? From what I've gathered, that would be about a cup of vegetables. However, if I'm eating anything pre-packaged, I'm going to look at whatever's on the package and go with that. So for cans, that would be about a half a cup. Russet potatoes apparently is 5 ounces. That's what I'm going to go with, which brings me to rule number 2. We're not here to demonize potatoes, white potatoes specifically, and corn. They're vegetables too. That's right, not all vegetables have 300% of your vitamin. I don't know what vitamins vegetables have, but some of them are simple and basic, like me. And we're not here to demonize them. So potatoes and corn are on the menu this week. That's right, I did it, and I said it, and I'm proud of it. Okay, I'm gonna calm down. And rule number 3 makes me a giant hypocrite for what I just said about rule number 2. Tomatoes are also on the menu. They have entered the chat. I know your know-it-all brother is gonna mansplain that tomatoes are technically a fruit, but we all know in their heart of hearts, tomatoes are a vegetable. Okay, so tomatoes, they count this week too. It might not even matter, but they do. And the last thing is more like a tidbit than a rule. This is not a what I eat in a week video. This is about vegetables. So if there's a day that goes on that you're like, Mady, you didn't eat enough calories, I'm not showing you everything I'm eating. I'm just showing you the meals I'm having that have vegetables in them. And because I like lists, I do want to let you guys know 3 things I'm trying to accomplish this week. Number 1, I want to go out to eat and I want to get at least a few servings of vegetables in a meal in a restaurant, and preferably not a salad. I'm prattling on about this, but I actually already have a place in mind, so this one won't be an issue. Number 2, I want to find something that I really love this week, that I think is delicious and that I would eat even if I weren't doing this video. And number 3, and this one's purely for fun, I would like to make a dessert that has vegetables in it. It doesn't have to have a serving of vegetables per serving of dessert. That would probably be pretty gross. But just as a fun thing, I'm going to make a dessert with some kind of vegetables in it. We're going to figure out what that is. I'm not really sure what to expect. I've planned out a few meals already, but I have a feeling me or my husband's going to definitely have to run out to the store this week, or I'm going to end up eating baby spinach from a bag at the end of one of the days. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this week's meals. Wait, one more thing. Any of the recipes that you see will be linked down below. I'm not a recipe developer, so anything you see will be linked down below because I care about you, and I care about the people that worked really hard to put these recipes together. Okay, that's all I got. Let's get into this week's video.
Several bad puns.
So day 1, I would say we started out strong but basic. All right, so this is meal number 1. It is a pineapple avocado smoothie, and this has a serving of 1.5 of vegetables. So this is a good start for the morning. The color is not exactly what I'd call aesthetically pleasing, but let's try it. Hello, Henry.
Hello. God, no. Get out the shot.
I'm sorry.
I look homeless.
I look homeless too.
I love you.
It's very creamy from the avocado. It's good. It's not very sweet. We're going to add protein powder next time. Even unflavored. I'd probably do unflavored. Did you add the vanilla? Yes, you did.
Teaspoon.
Okay. It's not as sweet as I thought it'd be.
Yeah.
With the pineapple, but it's good. I'm going to drink it.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For lunch, we tried to go to this really good Mongolian restaurant, but it ended up being closed for remodel. And so in a last minute decision, we ended up going to McAllister's instead. I was boring and got a salad. I wasn't really prepared for the other restaurant to be closed. And when I was eating it, I wasn't actually sure how many servings of vegetables were in it, but it was really filling, and I ended up taking the leftovers home with me. And like the world's most neurotic person, I measured the leftovers, and it was over 4 cups. So I feel like I can safely say that this salad altogether was at least 3 servings of vegetables. Okay, for breakfast on day 2, I have the exact same smoothie, except I ended up adding some protein powder to it. I just worked out. Jillian, you bitch. So I could use the protein. All right, that's day 2's breakfast. Hello, and welcome to day 2. I look like a fat little Indian girl. And by Indian, I mean Native American, which is what I am. But tonight's dinner is shepherd's pie, which we are currently working on. I swear that's only a pound of ground meat, but it looks like a lot of ground meat. And then the pièce de la resistance. These onions are browning, kind of. But, and normally I wouldn't do a side dish with shepherd's pie. However, I need more vegetables. I've only had a serving and a half today. And these are the best.
They're Le Sueur peas. They're the best.
These are a very special brand because these are the kind my mother uses. Fun fact, when I was growing up, I loved peas. I was obsessed with peas. I thought they were delicious, specifically my mother's. And so when I was in grade school, we had a little assignment where we had to draw our favorite food. Now, a lot of kids drew pizza, they drew cookies, I don't know, maybe some spaghetti, I don't know. What do kids like? Pizza. And my teacher came over and saw that I had drawn a little bowl shape with a bunch of circles. And she was like, is it cereal? And I was like, no, it's peas. She's like, that's wonderful. Little did she know, the first ingredient of my mother's peas were probably peas, and the second was probably butter. Yeah, we're gonna make those. Not because they're necessarily healthy, but because they're delicious. I ended up having 2.5 servings of peas. I didn't quite make them as good as my mom's peas, but I also didn't have the patience to have them on the stove for as long as she called for. Regardless, they were delicious and went really well with the shepherd's pie. If you're interested, I typed out my mom's version in the description down below, and then I typed out my own version, which is basically the same thing, just with less butter. So by this point in the week, I was going pretty strong, but I wanted to kind of get away from those smoothies I've been having for breakfast and show you guys at least one other way other than smoothies to get in some vegetables in the morning. She is beauty, she is grace, she is Miss United States. Okay, I got this recipe from a TikTok/YouTube short by someone by the name of Nutrition by Kylie. I love her stuff. This is a way to get some vegetables. So I will be eating a serving of this. There's 4, as you can see, with one of these holy guacamole avocados. So per serving, this is just shy of 2 vegetables. And this was not included in her recipe, and it looks kind of gross sitting in my sink like this. I also got some turkey sausage because I like protein.
Hello,
I like
protein. Okay, tonight on day 3, we are making minestrone or minestrone, I've heard it said both ways, soup. And I just want to show you guys the amount of vegetables that is going into this soup.
It's a shit ton.
It is a lot of vegetables. So I need to do the math on how many servings of vegetables per soup. It is not vegetarian. There is meat in here. It's a lot of freaking vegetables. We've actually had this once before, and it was delicious. What are your
amazing.
thoughts? Okay.
I'm actually really excited to have this again.
Henry really liked it.
And it was delicious.
I thought it was really good, too. I don't know if I'll have a link to this one in my description. This is from the Clean and Delicious Cookbook. She is a YouTuber. I've watched her for years. She has really good recipes. But I bought her cookbook around Christmas time. So
What's
this
her
is Danny Spees. Clean and Delicious is the name of her channel / cookbook. I don't show other people's recipes.
Sure. You link them to the people.
Yeah, to drive traffic. But I don't know. This could be a cookbook exclusive thing. So, my bad. Oh my God, Simon. So she doesn't actually have this recipe on her YouTube channel, but she does have another one, so I'll definitely link down to that. This is delicious, though. I am obsessed with this recipe, and it actually wins the reward for having the most vegetables per serving. I'm pretty sure I can confidently say about a cup of this soup is a full serving of vegetables. Maybe a little less with the beans and the meat, but the vast majority of this is vegetables. Day 4 and 5 were definitely boring. It's just me and Henry here in the house, and so we ended up eating a lot of leftovers. And that soup that we made could honestly feed a small army. It is a lot of soup. Literally, this challenge is done and we still have some soup left. And you know what? I'm probably going to eat it. Day 4, I ended up having a really horrible day. And so I didn't actually eat that much until dinner time, where I ate some leftover shepherd's pie and 2 servings of peas. Later that night, I was feeling snacky, as my husband likes to say. And I literally just warmed up a sweet potato in the microwave for an extra serving and a half of vegetables. Day 5's breakfast was where I decided to make things interesting. Okay, here is my next smoothie. It is a cauliflower berry banana smoothie. It's a little weird. It calls for blueberry yogurt, blueberry Greek yogurt. I don't have that. I have regular, so it'll just have to do. I'm really intrigued. This smoothie is actually from the same developer that created the smoothie I had at the beginning of the week. There was a lot of oomph in this little smoothie, and it was a lot for my cheap little blender, so I ended up adding about a half a cup more of almond milk, and I also added some protein powder. I feel like at this point that goes without saying. I'm always going to add some protein powder to my smoothies. Henry happened to come home briefly during this time, so he actually got to try this as well.
I can just vaguely taste the cauliflower in the aftertaste.
I was literally gonna say the aftertaste.
I know. It's really not bad though.
It's good. Like, I didn't even strain out the seeds like I would my berry smoothie. Is my berry smoothie superior?
Yeah, you do a great berry smoothie.
I like your hesitation. You're like,
I was like my question wasn't getting through.
But anyway, yeah, I agree. It is better, my berry smoothie, but that has a serving of vegetables in it. So
Nice.
My berry smoothie, I just throw a handful of spinach in there. So
It's not the worst though. Yeah.
All right, I'm glad you liked it,
I did.
Daddy.
No. I love you.
As one does.
As one does.
And in true boring fashion, for lunch and dinner, I ended up just having more leftovers.
The next day.
This is day 6's lunch. Still more of this minestrone soup. It makes a ton. I mean, me and Henry have put a dent in it, but we still have leftovers for days. Don't judge the cheese I put on it. I did measure it and count the calories. But yes, here she is. This is about 2 servings of vegetables, so we definitely will have some ground to make up later. But this is going to be good, as it has been the past however many times I've eaten it. For dinner day 6, I ended up taking a really freaking long nap. We had D&D later that night, so I didn't really have time to cook, and we ended up ordering in and getting hibachi. I'm not saying this is healthy, like at all, but I did sub in and pay extra for extra vegetables. And again, like a neurotic person, I ended up measuring them out, and it was 2 full cups of vegetables. I wanted to show y'all the footage and make sure I let you know that I did eat all of the vegetables. I get to have my dessert after this. Okay. But I did eat all of the vegetables and it was really good. They cooked it really well, so it was like just the right amount of crunch, but also not raw vegetables, which honestly, my GI thanks you. Thank you a lot.
Thank you. Thank you a lot. And for what it's worth, I think your baby voice is topped.
So for the final day, day 7, I was determined to cook a little more because I definitely felt like I got lazy in the middle of the challenge. For lunch, I made a really basic chicken salad. This is my own concoction that I've actually made on this channel before. He's about to drop Harry off and he's like, "No, I'm going to miss you, Harry." Oh my God. How did I ever find love? Honestly, it's just one of those things I throw together to get the consistency that I like. I ended up going bowling with some friends that afternoon, and I love me some bowling alley french fries. So for the first time this week, fried food has entered the chat. But seriously, I won't make a habit of the fried food. It just sounded really good at the time. And for dinner, we ended up making this curry with cauliflower rice. I'm not saying this is authentic curry, but I found this recipe a while back. This is actually something I've even eaten before this challenge, and it's just really good. And it's a great winter dish because it's warm and wholesome and delicious. Most importantly, for the purposes of this video, it actually has a lot of vegetables in it. And finally, as promised, I made some zucchini bread. And that's it. Let's get into the outro and see the results of this week.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
All right, we made it. Before we get into the results, which stick around for that because holy shit, I wanted to talk about some of the non-scale victories that I experienced while doing this challenge. I really think that doing this video may have changed my life, and I know that sounds dramatic, but I am not exaggerating. And what I'm about to say may seem off topic, but just stick through it with me because I actually think it's important. So the book Atomic Habits talks about how your perception of your identity influences the actions that you take and the habits that you try to build in life. So a good example would be, I'm not someone who's good with technology. Anytime we get any kind of new technological gadget in the house, I immediately defer to my husband to set it up. Sometimes I don't even try. I'm just like, oh, that's out of my hands. I don't know what to do with that. Thank you, Henry, by the way. You're the best. Love you. I identify as someone who doesn't feel like I'm confident with that, and so I don't even try. Another example would be someone who feels like they're out of shape, not signing up for a workout class, a marathon, or any kind of group exercise, or even the gym. Someone who's bad at math might not sign up for a higher level math course because they perceive themselves as being bad at math. At the start of this video, I was dreading doing this challenge. I thought it would be miserable. I thought it would be rabbit food. I'd be struggling to get enough servings at the end of the day. I identified as a vegetable hater. And I will not say this often on this channel, but I was wrong. In the introduction of this video, I talked about how I wasn't really exposed to vegetables that much growing up. I ate zucchini for the first time when I was 18 and in college, and a friend of mine just made it for me, and I thought it was delicious. I didn't try cauliflower until I was in my 20s. Basically, the only vegetables I was able to try as a kid came in a can. And for a long time, I thought that the only way to get a decent serving of vegetables in one sitting was to just eat a big salad. And I was pretty lukewarm to that idea. But doing this video has really opened my eyes to all of the different ways that vegetables can be included in your diet. It also stopped me from having dessert every single day. I don't know if it's because naturally I was eating more whole foods and less processed foods, but every night I would always want like a little sweet treat or something, even on this journey where I've been doing really well. And there's nothing wrong with having a little something at night, but I was starting to get worried that if later on down the line I'd need to cut added sugar or gluten for fertility purposes, that I would have a lot of trouble giving that up. One of my go-tos were these little mochi ice creams. They were so good, pre-portioned, little bits of sweetness, only 80 calories, and I would have one every night. But it wasn't until the end of this week, and I was doing my grocery order for next week, that I realized that I still had some in my freezer, and that never happens. I always eat all of them. I don't know what changed, but I just stopped craving them as much. I wasn't even thinking about them anymore. What the hell is happening to me? So yes, the thesis of this video is that I can confidently say that this challenge has changed my life. No longer will I lay my head down at night and open my eyes to realize I did not eat any vegetables that day, because I now have a lot of really good ways to incorporate them. So last but not least, let's get into those weight loss results. So at the beginning of this week, I weighed in at 239.4 pounds. And at the end of this week, I weighed, drumroll as usual, so that is a loss of 5 pounds, and I am shook. I feel like I say that every week too, but like, that is the most amount of weight I have ever lost in 1 week. Ever.
So as usual, I have to give the disclaimer, I am taking Zepbound, which is a GLP-1.
However, even on this journey while taking it, I've been losing weight at a steady, normal rate. Maybe a little higher than normal sometimes, but it hasn't been no 5 pounds in 1 week type of situation. And as always, I just want to let you guys know, even with eating all the vegetables, I still was eating 1,500 calories a day. I am currently doing a workout that's like 25 minutes, 5 days a week. That video will come out in a few weeks. I don't know what caused the drastic change in the scale this week, but honestly, with all the changes my psyche had, seeing the scale reflect that, it feels good. It feels right. So I really just hope that this video gave you some ideas and let you see how you can also implement having more vegetables into your diet. And most of all, I just kind of hope you like this video. So if you did, like, comment, subscribe. The YouTube wizards love all that stuff for the growth of my channel. And I hope you have a good day. Bye. Good day.